Catching up on cinema audience. Deep in the jungles of Bengala, there is a legend of a ghost who walks. And there is an old jungle saying that nobody denies the Phantom.
Yes, today we're going to be talking about The Phantom, as directed by Simon Wincer, I believe is how you might pronounce the fellow's name. He's an Aussie, as far as I understand. I looked into his filmography, had quite an interesting run. Seems to have tapered off, but the 90s in particular seemed to be very kind to him. Well, actually, he had some ups and downs, but depending on your point of view, the 90s were very kind to him. But yeah, this was directed by Simon Wincer, and is, of course, based on the character, the titular Phantom, who Levi is here, of course, to fill in some of the gaps that entirely exist within my mind, because I'll just tell you straight up, when it comes to familiarity with the Phantom character, I come at it from some funny angles. So I don't have any connection to the source material, which I imagine was comic strips, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so he originates in comics. My connection to the Phantom comes from a 90s cartoon by the name of Phantom 2040 that had that Aeon Flux art style where everybody's oddly thin and elongated. It was very complex, not like good Saturday morning cartoon programming for children. It was very much elevated programming. I did watch a fair amount of it, though. And then there was a Super Nintendo off of that show, the Phantom 2040 show, that if you haven't played it, Levi, if folks out there haven't played it, and you're like an enthusiast of the 16-bit era of video games, I'd say give it a shot. It's actually a very good game, even if you have no connection to the license, because like my connection was tenuous at best. I think I connected more strongly with King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, honestly.
Ah, yes.
Although that game was dog shit. The Phantom got a good game. King Arthur and the Knights of Justice got a shit-ass game, but it was like made by reputable people. It was very surprising, because I think it was like an Enix game or something. And it's trash.
Wow.
But Phantom 2040 is very much worth your while. But yeah. Beyond that, though, I don't really know a whole lot about the Phantom. So, Levi, this whole month has kind of been spearheaded by you, this whole Pulp Cinema Month experiment that we've been doing all month long. So I feel it's only appropriate that I pass the baton to you and say, hey, how about you tell us a little about the Phantom and how you connect to the Phantom, what your relation is to the Phantom.
Well, first of all, the 2049 game, I played it as a kid and I liked it well enough. I mean, it's one of those, like, it's been years since I've played it. And I've seen some of the cartoon, and it's a pretty solid one. It's one that I think because of the license, it's a little lost in the sauce. I do kind of miss a little bit of that era where it's just like, screw it, we're doing stuff in the future now. It's, Deke, I believe, had the, Sherlock Holmes in the 23rd century. And you had, like,
wow.
cyborg robot Watson.
Yeah, I haven't thought of that in a minute. Gee.
Yeah, it's like, every show had a piece of the pie. Probably most famously being Batman Beyond. Absolutely. Or, Spider-Man Unlimited on television, which was sort of your version of Spider-Man 2099, which was not good. It was not a good show.
No, it was not.
But, so, The Phantom was created by Lee Falk in 1936, and sort of the big claim to fame for the character is it is the first comic strip superhero character to wear the skin-tight bodysuit. And as far as the art depiction, he is the first character to have the famous mask where it's just whites, where there's no pupils showing through. So the design language of the Phantom is incredibly influential. I mean, that design, which probably for the most part we see the most in characters like Batman, owes so much to the Phantom and Lee Falk's design of it. And technically, the Phantom is cheating for this month, as this is Pulp Cinema Month, because the Phantom is pretty firmly a character of the newspaper comic strips. And he was created for that medium in the spirit of other characters at the time, like Terry and the Pirates was a very famous one, a big adventure strip with lots of like dogfighting and jungle adventures and that sort of thing. It's a great, great freaking read. But the Phantom exists as a strange missing link, at least in my opinion, between what we think of as the pulp hero and the soon-to-be-coming dawn of the comic book superhero. Because we have the trappings visually of the mask and the skin-tight outfit, but we also have the DNA of characters like Tarzan, with it being a jungle adventure, and also the dual 45s, like the Shadow and the Spider. So we have all of these elements that are very, very pulp, but that are just a slight precursor to what was coming with comic book superheroes. So the Phantom, primarily who we follow the 21st Phantom, Kit Walker. And way back in the day, and this is explained in the opening of the film, which is done perfectly, it's so damn good. Way back, a ship was set upon by a group of pirates, and the sole survivor was a young boy who managed to survive and washed ashore onto the island of Bengala, where he was found by the native tribes, and the tribes took him in, and he was trained up to stand against all forms of piracy, greed, and cruelty. From that day forward, he took on this mantle as this great hero. He became the Phantom, and over the centuries, this has been a title that has passed down father to son. So we are now into the 1930s with the 21st Phantom. So with 20 Phantoms before him, he has managed to get all of these riches, and there's this legend that surrounds him where the people of the island don't quite realize that the Phantom is a mortal man. As far as they're concerned, this guy's been walking the earth for 400 years, getting the moniker of Ghost Who Walks. And there's all sorts of legends that surround him. And so with that basis, we have a guy who has no formal superpowers, who's primarily built upon agility and strength, and he has his horse and a wolf, and he goes out and he has not only jungle trekking adventures, but world trekking. And it's just a lot of fun. It's a great setting, and it's a great platform for doing a lot of different types of adventures. And because he is the 21st, you can do historical adventures very easily with all of the other different Phantoms. Like, if you wanted to do a story in, like, say, colonial America, you could. It's just a matter of getting the Phantom from Bengala over there. And it's also been a good springboard for more characters and different creators that have wanted to try something different. So, like with 2040, I believe he's the 23rd Phantom, if I'm recalling correctly.
That number sounds right. I wouldn't be able to verify that off the top of my head.
Yeah. So the idea is that you can also tell a future story with the Phantom, because this is the very nature. It is a passing of the mantle. And it's also allowed people to kind of like go back and forth, where Dynamite had a good run, where it's just like, okay, what happens if the Phantom doesn't have a kid? Like, what happens then? And it's just like, well, his servant, sort of his right-hand man, has to take up the mantle of the Phantom. And now, like, this has to be a big deal for him. So it's like we're able to kind of play with this because of the legacy aspect of the character. And it also allows us to explain, like, where'd all this money come from? Like, it's not like you have some characters where you're always kind of wondering, like, how do they afford all of this? And it's just like, well, you've been essentially robbing pirates for 400 years. So you got a couple of bucks to spare. It's just a great platform for a character. My connection to it is largely through comic books and reading through these different stories that I found in back issues. This movie is actually a pretty big touchstone for me as far as interest for the character. And it's interesting. The Phantom is not nearly as well known here in America, but internationally, the Phantom still is a big freaking deal. Like, is just as recognizable as Superman and Batman. Internationally, like, Australia has a, like, running, touring, fine arts Phantom collection. And there are... The comic strip has been running continuously since 1936. Continuously. Falk wrote that thing until his death in 1999. He had a 60-year doggone run on this character.
Jeez.
It's like the Phantom has had a more consistent creator team than just about any other character out there. It's the only other character I would say that has like a similar modality is maybe Dick Tracy, who again is still running from when he was introduced. But the Phantom has such a massive international presence. And it's led to all of these different adaptations, and it's led to all these remixes. So if you go into like bande dessinée or down into Brazil, they have their own ideas for it. What we have in English is only a small portion of what the Phantom has to offer. And there's still a huge fan base. But here in the United States, the character is pretty far underground as far as the cultural knowledge goes. So, as far as films go, we have a serial from back in the 30s and 40s, like we talked about in the Doc Savage episode. And it's fun. It's a fun one. We have some other like smaller adaptations. I don't think he ever got a radio show, which is a shame.
Really? That surprises me.
Yeah, some people did, some people didn't. Doc Savage had a radio show, but all of the episodes are lost. We don't have any of them.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, but the scripts still float around, so sometimes like fan groups recreate them.
That's cool.
One of the other connections that folks may have stateside is the cartoon Defenders of the Earth, which features Flash Gordon, Mandrake the Magician, and the Phantom. That was a cartoon in the 80s, and it has the most what the hell theme song I have ever heard. So there's the cartoon Defenders of the Earth. Then there is this movie. There is Phantom 2040. And this is a weird one, because almost nobody talks about it and nobody has heard of it. We got a movie for the Phantom. Let me see, what year was this? In 2009.
Post Iron Man.
Post Iron Man. So to the very best of my knowledge, it was a television pilot that was given a whole lot of money that nobody picked up. And it's decent. It's decent. It's not anything to write home about. The real issue is that the initial setup, you're like, okay, all right. And the ending, like sort of the ending, you're like, oh, that's cool. That's really, really neat. And then there's no show to go with it, and it ends on a cliffhanger.
Art.
And it's so disappointing. Because I'm like, oh, I would actually watch this show. I would actually finish this. But nope, sorry. Flash Gordon actually has had a TV show in the 2000s that had the same issue. Where it's like, it had one season. And the first half of the season is the most dog shit television you have ever seen. It is awful. It is horrendous. And then somehow, they totally grew the beard mid-season.
Yeah.
And it actually gets really good. And you're really kind of like, okay. All right. It's like they completely fired the writing team and brought in new guys. And then, so by the time you hit the season finale, you're totally locked in. You're into it. And then, of course, there's no second season because nobody was watching because the first 8 episodes are horrible.
Suck.
Yeah. But, so, all of that preamble to the character and publication history and all of that brings us to 1996, which was coming to the end of the big craze for pulp cinema and sort of this thing that was coming out. I would say that we can mark the proper end at 1998 with The Mask of Zorro's release. That was 98, right? Or was it 99?
I believe so. It was 98 or 90. Not positive.
Okay. So we can essentially place the cutoff there. So this is coming near the tail end of that. Lot of big names behind this one. Like, as far as producers go, we have, like, famous Hollywood producer, you know, the Godfather and all of these big shots from the 70s, Robert Evans. We have Alan Ladd Jr., who was, like, a total champion of genre film at the time, or backing Star Wars, Aliens, all of these big genre pictures. Joe Dante is a producer on it too. So it's like there was a lot of like very big genre money men heavy hitters behind this picture, and boy does it look like it. It is a gorgeous looking film.
Yes, and occasionally no is my opinion. Production design is fabulous. Set design, fabulous. Location scouting, money, all money. Shot selections and lighting, sometimes uninspired. CGI and optical effects, often dog shit. That's all. That's all. I don't need to expound on any further.
Yeah. Trevor, what is your history with this movie? Tell me about it.
So, I mean, I was born in 87, so I would have been pretty much the right age for this movie in 1996. I felt some urge to slam evil upon seeing commercials for this movie. If you don't get the reference, folks, the poster for this movie, they went with the tagline. There's multiple posters. Levi and I talked about it last week. There's the good one, and then there's the not quite so good one. The good one uses the ghost who walks. That's a cool phrase. It's synonymous with the Phantom. Levi has something.
I have some show and tell.
Okay. Do you have it on hand?
I do. So here's the thing, folks. I I like this movie. I like this movie a lot. I don't think I should have this in as many ways as I do because I'm like, I like this. I like a movie like The Rocketeer maybe a little more. But so I have this DVD copy, as you can see, Slam Evil, which is a horrible, awful tagline. Evil.
Leave a malls, by the way. Because
Leave a malls.
Leave a malls.
No. So I not only have that, but what Trevor most likely saw and what I definitely saw first was the VHS, which has this sweet lenticular punchin'. I am so glad that shows well on camera. He's going. So this was the first thing that I saw in the video store for this movie, is this lenticular cover, and I'm like, even as a kid, I'm like, Slam Evil? Like, I remember looking at that cover and being like, And of course we have the Laserdisc.
Are they really committed to that Slam Evil?
Dude, they committed. It's also funny because all of the promo photos are the exact same across all three releases. It's just a difference in layout. So here's the thing. Slam Evil, they were committed. I also have the cinematic poster that's good.
Yes. Fabulous. Beautiful.
This is the good cinematic poster, which I can't tell if it's well in frame because I'm behind it.
You got most of it in there. You got the goods.
So, this is a freaking awesome poster, and that sort of brooding pose on the throne is an iconic shot for the character, and that is a great freaking poster. But no, Slam Evil.
We went with Slam Evil.
We went with Slam Evil.
Is the joke. We're going with Slam Evil.
Yeah, we're going with Slam Evil over that superb poster. It's like that. We had some good ones because it's like that poster, the poster for the Rocketeer. The Deco one, is unbelievable.
The rendered one,
yeah. One of the other, like, especially for characters of that ilk, Darkman has a freaking awesome poster. That's another one that I have hanging up. But so the advertising for this movie was not great.
No.
I actually this is a fun one. I watched this movie with my mother this week.
Oh.
Because I was like, because my father was out of town, and she's just like, do you want to come over? Do you want to like? I'm like, well, I have this movie I gotta watch for the podcast. So do you wanna watch it? And I specifically went out of my way not to show her the cover. I'm like, I can't. If my mom sees Slam Evil before watching that, she ain't watching this with me. She's not gonna be. And at the end, she was like, yeah, I really like that. That was very good. And then, like, she was quiet for a second. She's like, I've definitely seen worse.
It's a very mom thing to say.
Yeah, and yeah, so she had a good time with it, and I had a good time with it. But yeah, it is enough. The cover and the advertising is embarrassing enough that I'm like, I cannot show her this, or else there's no way we're gonna get to watch this.
Yeah, that color palette combined with that tagline, that's like, mom's probably not gonna bite for this. Yeah, to lay it all out, like when it came to my connection to the Phantom, I was privy to the advertisements for the film. Like, I existed in the world in 1996, so I saw commercials, Very good trailer. Excellent trailer, by the way. Whoever cut this thing, wow. Like the intro that I made for this month's programming, like I actually like had like about a depression after watching it, because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna cut together a snappy 30-second promo or something for the podcast, and then I was like pulling source footage, and I pull up the Phantom trailer as composed to the trailers for all the other movies we're talking about this month. And I was just like, I can't do that. Like this is amazing. Yeah, we were spoiled in the 90s. The 80s and 90s, those marketing people, they took all the cocaine or something, because they tapped into something magical. But yeah, when it came to the movie itself, it kind of got lost in the shuffle, because like I said, I did watch the cartoon Phantom 24. The Mask of Zorro was a revelation. I adore that movie. I think it's fitting that it closed the book on this particular moment in time in like Pulp cinema history, basically, where it's just like there was like a bout of nostalgia going on in Hollywood in the 90s, where not only did we have all these pulp and comic book heroes being put on the screen in the form of the Phantom, Zorro, Batman and Superman were kind of the catalyst for all this. It was a movement that honestly never quite went away, but there was like a concentrated effort to like put more of this stuff on screens through the 80s and 90s. In addition to that, like parallel to that though, you also had the television revival, where you had the Addams Family, you had the Brady Bunch movies, like both of those, plural. You had fucking not Green Acres, but the Beverly Hillbillies. You had Leave It to Beaver. You had all these like Nick at Night style TV revivals also being put on screen. So there was this nostalgia wave that was going around. So I want to say, like, characters like the Phantom, there's a reason why all these super high-powered producers were backing this thing. It's because they held that kind of nostalgia for this thing. They had like a personal appreciation or connection to this character, the Phantom. And to quote you, Levi, doggone it, they were going to find life was going to find a way. Whether it was Joe Dante or someone else, somebody was going to make the Phantom before these guys croaked. But yeah, when it came to me personally, what's probably going to color some of this discussion is our personal connections to this movie. Is you, Levi, you like this one quite a lot. Like you have a connection to it that I don't have. I did see it, but it didn't resonate. And it's a little bit of a shame, because I like so many components of it. I believe David Arnold did the score for it. He is one of my very favorites. He is a phenomenal composer. I'm still kind of bitter that we lost him to the London Olympics, I think it was. His tenure on James Bond was interrupted by that, where I think he was brought on board to do the opening ceremony, kind of similar to how like John Williams did some Olympics music as well. I think they swiped him for that, so he got pulled off of James Bond around the time of Skyfall. But the score is phenomenal. We have a very credible writer backing this thing. I happen to really like Billy Zane. Like, just in general, he just works for me. I just like him. I'm very curious to watch his Marlon Brando movie that does exist. Levi, it looks like you're familiar with this. Have you seen it?
Yeah, he looks a hell of a lot like Brando. It's kind of uncanny. I really want to see it. I really want to see that.
Yeah, I don't care if it's good or bad. Like I said, I like Billy Zane. I just want to see Billy Zane be Billy Zane. I want to see that eyebrow acting. It's phenomenal. Yeah. And also Treat Williams. I've always liked Treat Williams. In fact, like one of our early better episodes of this podcast was Deep Rising. Kyle knew nothing about Deep Rising. And in fact, I feel like that movie got overlooked when it came out. But I put it in front of him and he was like, you know what? That was a pretty fun little adventure movie. And I was like, yeah, it was. And he was like, that Treat Williams guy is really affable. I was like, yeah, he is. So there's a lot of components to this movie that I really, really like. It's just when it got to me, I don't know, it got overshadowed by things like Zorro. I was one of the fortunate people, like youngsters, that did see The Rocketeer in the theater.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a big deal. I knocked out a couple of big ones. I got Mask of the Phantasm under my belt and The Rocketeer. Yeah, just when it came to like similar superhero kind of movies, like Darkman hit harder than this one for me, landed better for me, I guess you would say. So a little bit of a forgotten gem. I don't think it's a bad movie at all. I just think it's standing next to some titans, honestly. Like it's standing in the shadow of some truly amazing movies that came out not far before or after. But yeah, I didn't see this one in the theater. I think this was a VHS rental when I was young.
Yeah, and folks, one of the reasons why I am a little embarrassed by how many different ways I own this movie.
You don't have to be embarrassed.
Is the fact that of the Pulp films, I mean, it's like The Rocketeer is probably at the top just purely through personal preference, sort of like how I'm like, listen, Empire Strikes Back is the better movie, but I like Return of the Jedi more. The Rocketeer is top of the pile, followed by Mask of Zorro, and
Shadow, maybe. I don't particularly like that movie. It just looks nice because it's Russell Mulcahy.
It's the problem with The Shadow is in its tone. It's in its tone, and it's in some of the weirdness of the character. Very slight tangent. I will make this quick. There are essentially two versions of The Shadow. The one that exists in the Pulp and the one that exists on radio. They are different characters, and everyone has kind of acknowledged that they are different characters. They are both canon, but they are different things. The issue with the movie is that it's a strange melding of the two, where it's not quite Radio Shadow and it's not quite Pulp Shadow, and there's also some Hollywood weirdness in there. And I feel like it never quite realizes what it's supposed to be. I like it for what it is. For what it is, I'll take it. It's not the perfect movie. It is not the perfect Shadow adaptation. I actually put Phantom probably next in that line, like at number 3, because of its commitment to character, because of its commitment to tone, and it feels complete. It has some stupid elements, but I feel as a story and as a picture, I find it has a better pace than Dick Tracy. I find that it has a better commitment to tone than The Shadow. And it definitely has a better commitment to tone than something like Doc Savage. The Phantom, it's funny because script-wise and story-wise, The Phantom is very Doc Savage, movie-wise. It has a lot of the same beats and a lot of the same conflicts. But it is so much better because it commits. It commits fully to its bit. So that's the thing. The Phantom is far from a perfect film. But what I appreciate is the commitment. I appreciate the fact that they go to the hilt for this thing.
You appreciate that they slam evil thoroughly.
They slam evil.
They promise slamming of evil, and they slam evil.
Yeah. The poster isn't a lie.
I'm curious if like maybe somebody got wise to like Space Jam coming out and they're like, oh shit, slam, jam. It's like, do we need to get on the Space Jam train?
Yeah.
The kids are all about jamming. Let's get them into slamming.
I do not understand it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and that's sort of the other thing, is that when I saw this, when I first saw this, I was kind of like, yeah? I'm like, I mean, that was kind of fun, but for some reason, I've kept returning to it, and I feel like the parts that are good get better for me, while the parts that don't work have always just kind of been like, oh, that was stupid.
Well, what's funny upon watching it this time is that I found treasure in the subtlety. Like the broad strokes of it to me are its weaker elements. Like when it comes to like action spectacle or special effects, things like that. Like things that you would expect for a movie of this nature. I feel like that's actually its weak point. I think the strengths of it really are the tone and the quips. Like just the tiny interactions between the characters. Like Billy Zane really has a handle on something with this character where he has like a tongue-in-cheek like earnestness to him, where he feels like an observer of his own predicament. He's just kind of like outside of things just a little bit, and he has all these just like offhand comments about things that are very, very charming. And even his dynamic with Diana, apparently it was cut down somewhat, but what's here is still quite good. Same goes for like Treat Williams and his dialogue scene, his dialogue scenes with his henchmen and stuff. It's very entertaining stuff, but it's like simple exchanges of dialogue rather than like spectacular slam bang action beats. It's very strange in that way, where it's like when it gets quieter, when it gets simpler, is when I like it the most. Like I could see myself reading this comic book and like having it be a kind of situation where I'm like the paneling or the figure drawing or the art, like the penciling of it is just kind of like not quite there for me, but I just love reading the thing. It's kind of like that dynamic. It's like there's something that's a little bit less than, but then there's this one aspect of it that kind of like pulls it up out of it. It's interesting because like that, I feel like that's probably why it didn't resonate with me as much when I was young, is because I had things like I think I saw this after I saw Zorro. Oh. And to compare these films as action films is just don't do that. Like that's not warranted. Like just don't do that.
Yeah, and it's funny. My connection to Treat Williams is from the Joe Piscopo buddy cop classic Dead Heat.
Oh, I got that one. That's a fun one.
I like Dead Heat. I like Dead Heat a lot, despite Joe Piscopo attempting to kill this movie.
Yeah, he distanced himself quite a lot.
he tries his damnedest to just like choke the life out of that film, but it's a ton of fun. It's really fun. But we should probably talk about the movie instead of talking around it.
Okay, we can do that. So yeah, the prologue is brilliant. So fast and efficient. Levi actually laid it out for us like nearly verbatim, honestly. It's such a small thing, but wow, it really sets you up for success. That slide that says, "For those who came in late." Oh, that's so classy. That's so cool. And that's a phantomism. Like that. Yeah. That was something that was used throughout the comics. Yeah, you can tell there's quite a lot that seems to be pulled from Phantom lore. Like there's a lot of Phantom-isms and sayings, like old jungle sayings, as they often say in this movie. And yeah, we have this prologue narration that's it's recited by Patrick McGoohan, who plays the Phantom Senior. So he would be the 20th Phantom, I believe. Looks a little old, not especially spry. He looks like what Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond, where it's like, buddy, you probably should have hung it up a little earlier. Patrick McGoohan is great. I think he was coming off of Braveheart for this one. I think, I'm not sure on the timeline, but father-son relationship with Patrick McGoohan. Ooh, it was like that's a scary dynamic. And he tells us about Kabai Seng and the pirates and island of Megala. There's a village, there's a ring that is bestowed upon the Phantom, and then yes, the Phantom stands against piracy, greed, and cruelty. Boom, title. We're off to the races. It's like, wow, that was really efficient. By the way, pirates, Levi. Pirates are like something that is missing from mainstream cinema and media in general, because man, like in generations prior, everything was pirates. Like Little Orphan Annie was always tussling with pirates. Like I'm pretty sure Zorro was fighting with pirates. Phantom, pirate. Everybody, there's pirates all the way down. Everybody was punching pirates. That was the worst thing we had to worry about was pirates.
I freaking love pirates. I love them.
Great.
That's the thing. I feel that there is a desire. There is an innate desire in, like, especially men to be like, I want to watch people hit swords together.
I don't even want anybody to win. I just want them to go king, 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 king.
I want to watch someone Errol Flynn somebody. I want Captain Blood. Like, that's the thing. Every time pirates turn up in a story, I'm like, ooh, oh boy, it's pirates.
Yeah, I think it's innate or something. Like everything comes back to pirates, but there's been a dearth of pirates in recent years. I think the Pirates of the Caribbean kind of like squeezed all the fun out of pirates for a minute there. It's like they gave us this like concentrated bit of pirates for a bit, and then it made it so like everybody was afraid to touch pirates. So now we're in this weird environment where it's like everybody wants pirates because pirates are very bankable and everybody loves pirates, but everybody's afraid of fucking up the pirates. It's just do the pirates.
I am of the opinion that Pirates of the Caribbean actually screwed up the pirates because they got away from pirates. Because they're just like, oh, it's about magic, and there's like there's a whirlpool, and the ships shoot the cannons in the whirlpool, and also there's all this other, and I'm just like, brother, just give me the pirates. I wanna see the ting 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 ting. I want people to say avast and such.
Yar, yo ho, all that business.
I want pirates. I don't need magic pirates. I just want pirates.
Yeah, I don't need magic pirates. I don't need Orlando Bloom coming back to life when there's a green bloom on the horizon once a year. So I don't care. These are the least interesting characters in your franchise. Why are you backing them?
I do like those first three pirate movies. The third is weak. It is weak, and it gets way too out of hand. But I do like those first three.
So do I. I do enjoy that. Gore Verbinski actually has a big comeback. He has a movie in theaters right now. I think it's called Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die.
Ooh.
With Sam Rockwell. I like him quite a lot. But yeah, Gore's been out of the game for a minute, so I'm excited to see how that does. So far, I'm hearing good things. But those first three Pirates movies, yes, did like them very much. Fourth movie, I completely underestimated how expensive that movie was, because if you look into the numbers, it's like absolute insanity. But then I remember watching it and thinking to myself, this looks cheap. And I felt like such a dick like when I looked into the numbers after the fact. Long story short, don't remember the film at all. It kind of sucked, but I'm just glad that we have the end credits music for that fourth movie, because I do think it is the finest version of Hans Zimmer's Pirates theme. So it's in a bad movie, but it exists only in that movie. So I'm thankful for that at the very least. But yeah, title, Truck. We're in the Bengala jungle in 1938. And our first person we're introduced to is James Remar, who, of course, we all remember from The Warriors. Big fan of James Remar. He's generally a solid contributor to pretty much anything that you'll find him in. I like him in Jean-Claude Van Damme's The Quest. Similar to Treat Williams, I feel like he was cast because he has a little bit of a throwback vibe to him. Like he feels like a man from an older generation. And in The Quest, he's playing the heavyweight boxing champion of the world. And if you look at James Remar, it's like, heavyweight boxing champion in the world. It's like, people were smaller back in the day. It's like if you had a bushy mustache and you were not drunk all the time, you were probably pretty tough. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Pugilism. He was the top pugilist because it was a period. But yeah, James Remar is in this truck. We got sorcerer vibes going on here. He's a kid sandwiched between him and another thug. The kid is like their guide, and they come across a more sorcerer vibes, a suspension bridge of sorts, and hanging in the jungle. And in an act of cruelty, callous cruelty, James Remar assigns the child to be the driver of the truck while he and his buddies just walk across it for safety, you see. And this actually begins a trend in the movie that felt a little off for me. Our villains are too fucking friendly. Because the thing with James Remar is I just kind of like him, and even his interactions with this boy, like the things that he's doing are supposed to be like evil, like he's making the kid do something dangerous, or he's exploiting the kid in some fashion. But like his tone and how he converses with the kid is like, it's like a fun uncle kind of. And then like later on, he's supposed to be menacing. He's supposed to be, spoilers, the guy who killed Phantom Senior, and it's like, you know, he's James Remar. It's like, I can forgive that. And like same with Treat Williams. It's like he does awful things on occasion, but like he's so fucking excitable and happy, and I'm just like, he's a nice guy. Like, and Catherine Zeta-Jones, I feel like maybe the production gave up, and they're just like, she's too cool. Like, just make her into a good guy, whatever.
That's kind of what I like about this movie, though, is that it's just like, oh, these people are blood-sucking evil. Like they are absolutely reprehensible.
Yes.
But doggone it, they're just so fun to watch.
Yeah, they're kind of just fun. Like they're not threatening in any real sense. They do awful things to remind you that I guess they are. But yeah, the villains of this are very affable. Yeah. But yeah, did you want to take over for a second?
Oh, well, I was just going to say, in all honesty, because of how affable they are, it almost makes it more believable to me. That you're just like, well, how do these guys, like it's revealed that Treat Williams' character, Xander Drax, which is an awesome name.
Yeah, put some more X's in that shit.
Yeah, Xander Drax. Begins and ends with X. Has, like, the mayor and the police commissioner in his pocket. And in another movie where the guy was just, like, a bit of a heavy and kind of brooding, you're just like, oh, it's pure money. And where in this you're almost like, no, I could kind of believe that this guy has a silver tongue and, like, actually managed to convince them of, like, different things. Like, this guy feels like he can interact with society in a way that makes that he can kind of wrap people around his finger a little bit. That people kind of want to like him, even though he is a bastard.
I mean, maybe it's like a commentary on like 20th century villainy or something. It's like it takes this form as opposed to like a greasy pirate who just like swings onto your ship and slices your throat or something. It's funny, you mentioned Darkman earlier. His character reminded me a lot of the villain in Darkman. I forget, I think it wasn't Chris McDonald, but I think it was A. McDonald. I'm not positive. I always forget the fella's name because I want him to be Chris McDonald, but he's not Chris McDonald. But yeah, he reminded me of the bad guy in Darkman because he has kind of that same like excitable untouchableness to him. He's just like, he can't possibly comprehend the fact that anything would go wrong for him because he's just won so dramatically in life up to this point. So even when he's like fighting Darkman on the high rise and stuff, walking on the I-beams and stuff, he's like, whatever, I can't fall. I'm the hero of the story. Even his office kind of reminded me of the same set, that Sam Raimi movie. But yeah, the Ghost Who Walks. We get that phrase spoken at a certain point because James Remar is being warned that, hey, there's this fella out here in this jungle in Bengala. They call him the Ghost Who Walks. And Remar, we see, has a skull scar on his cheek. And he's like, I wouldn't worry about that. It's like that's been taken care of. So he's not worried about the Ghost Who Walks. And we see that some local natives seem to be watching them. They head into a cave and they find a metal skull, which seems to be of import. So we can deduce that these people with this truck have come here specifically for this. We have Mr. Drax mentioned, and James Remar is deferential just to the utterance of that name. So it's like, oh, there's a hierarchy of bad guys. This James Remar guy, Quill, by the way, is less than. He's lower than Mr. Drax. And then a mummy chokes a man to death. Levi, explain.
I don't know.
Something happened to this production because this happens and is never explained or revisited.
So they pick up the skull and the guy's like, well, you look important. So presumably this is like a chief or a priest or something. And he grabs the skull, he turns around, he's like, hey guys, I got the skull. And the skeleton reaches and chokes him to death. And we never come back to it.
It's Big Trouble in Little China all over again. You'll come out no more.
You will come out no more.
It just happens. Like, honestly, I want to say that there was something going on with the tone here with this movie. Like as it stands, I think it lands pretty well. Like, it does come across as cohesive. So congratulations to the production. They figured it out. But I want to say that maybe there were some conflict or disagreements surrounding this subject, because we have instances of some decently gnarly violence involving Treat Williams and also a cannonball. But then the Phantom is he is scaled back in terms of his participation in anything involving violence. Like, he throws maybe 3 punches in anger in the entire film. Every bullet he fires is used to disarm rather than wound or kill. It feels like Ninja Turtles a little bit. It feels like Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, where it's like, Leonardo's got those swords. He ain't gonna use those swords. Like, he's gonna throw them in the ceiling and use them as handles so he can kick people. It's like, which makes no goddamn sense. But I got kids here. Like that's the guiding principle behind the productions. Hey, I got kids here. So I want to say that maybe there was a little bit of like a conversation about the subject of tone and violence or something in the film that maybe restricted them somewhat, like hamstrung them ever so slightly. But yeah, this mummy chokes a dude to death, and they just kind of shrug. They loot the place anyway, even though their friend just died to a mummy. We have the Phantom introduced to us piecemeal in a less pornographic Joel Schumacher style.
I was thinking the same thing.
I mean, Joel Schumacher is focusing on certain parts of the anatomy. The Phantom, it's more his accoutrement, where it's like the domino mask, the belt, the pistols, I think the stirrups of his horse or something, as opposed to his ass and his package. But yeah, it's a fine introduction to a hero, where it's like, oh, you see flashes of parts of him, so he has all these tools, and he's going to look like, we already know he's going to look like, but we haven't seen him in the movie yet. And he rides into frame, slow motion on a white horse with a wolf named Devil.
And this is one of those things that a friend of mine and I trade this back and forth on occasion. Doug Walker, as the Nostalgia Critic, reviewed this movie, and for that shot, he's kind of building it up as the film does, where it's like, this ghost who walks, like what's going on with that? Wait, it's and you see the Phantom in his purple on the white horse, and Doug points and says, "It's the gayest thing I've ever seen." And I think about that, and I think about his reaction to it. And admittedly, it looks a little silly, but the film commits to it.
It slams evil, damn it. On the subject of the costume, it is comic accurate as far as I can tell, except for the texturing. Like, it has patterning on it to give it some depth, something, basically, some texture, because otherwise it would just be a purple something. So kudos to them for, again, committing. It's like, if you're gonna do the Phantom, that's the Phantom. It's like, where's the Phantom? Show me Phantom. Did Phantom. the material, I think, is the problem, because it's not flattering in the slightest. The hood that he wears jabs into his cheeks a little bit, like it protrudes out to about here, like he's got big old sideburns or something, and it looks a little funky. But mostly the bodysuit, like the material of it drapes and clings in a unflattering manner, which is a bit of a shame because Billy Zane is shirtless for one scene in this movie, and holy fucking shit, he is jacked.
I remember reading about the production of this, and they were like, we're not doing the Burton plastic armor. We're not doing it. And Billy Zane does like most of his own stunts in this picture. Like he was specifically like, I want to do my stunts. And he is yoked. Like, holy hell, he looks amazing. And yeah, it really does make you wish. I'm not sure what material the bodysuit is made of, but it makes you kind of wish. It makes you kind of wish that we had something a little closer to Reeves' Superman costume, because like it's not that it looks terrible or it's like, oh, like you're laughing it off screen, but it doesn't reveal how much work he put in.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame because it, like you said, it's not anything that you laugh off the screen. Like it doesn't look terrible. It's just like it's just off by a hair. Extra credit to Billy Zane for not just doing the stunt work, but his lines, like the postures he assumes and the poses he assumes during the action beats. Well, basically whenever he's wearing the costume, you can tell he did his research. Where it's like it looks inorganic. Like it doesn't look like how a human being moves, but he does look like he's replicating the panels of a comic book. Like there's certain like arm postures that's like people don't pose like that, whether they're fighting or doing anything really. But I've seen that panel. Like I like if you take screen caps of like action beats in this movie, it's like, yeah, like he did the comic. So that's like, at least there's that much thought put into it. Like he clearly threw a lot of himself into this. So, you know, credit to the man. But yeah, the gayest thing you've ever seen rides in on the tours. He brought his wolf buddy with him. And he runs a dude into a tree. The Phantom in this is essentially non-lethal. I did mention that. Although he does say to his wolf buddy Devil, if he moves, eat him. And this kind of introduces us to his delivery throughout this movie. He's just like, kind of like, he's a little bit chipper throughout the whole movie. It's kind of fun. I actually appreciate it because it makes him distinct at the very least. And David Arnold's theme music kicks in here very appropriately, being as our hero is riding on horseback. And it is a banger. It is the piece of music that I used for the intro this month. We get just a skosh of gymnastics. And a fun trailer line from James Remar, like, who the hell was that? Somebody I already killed. And then peekaboo, Phantom on the hood of the truck. And this is where the weaker elements of the movie start to arise. And most of it has to do with action. Because I'm sorry, if I see a man in 1938 riding on the hood of a truck, I think Indiana Jones, and that is not a comparison you want me to make. Because you will lose that comparison.
Yeah. So the writer of this picture wrote Last Crusade.
Yes, he did. Jeffrey Bohm.
So, and here's the thing. Accomplished scriptwriter, very, very good. There are times where it's very... Here's the weird thing. There was a comparison that was drawn between... Jonah Hex, Batman the Animated Series had an episode with Jonah Hex in it that essentially had a big steampunk ultimate weapon piece that that Hex had to stop. This was then ripped off by Wild Wild West, the Will Smith picture.
Yes.
And everyone was like, this is really weird and also kind of blatant because the setup and everything is like, it's almost uncanny. And then the Jonah Hex movie rips off Wild Wild West, which was already ripping off Jonah Hex. So it's ripping off itself, but not in a way that it is an adaptation. It is a Xerox of a Xerox now. In that same way, the Phantom and this Pulp ilk did these tropes and these stories and these action beats first. Indiana Jones is an homage and a like takeoff of those action beats and of those moments. The problem is now the Phantom is, instead of doing those Pulp beats again with sincerity, it feels like it is now a Xerox of a Xerox. And that's kind of where we're arriving with this, is that there are some of these action beats that you're like, you don't think, oh, this is Pulp action. You think, oh, it's Indiana Jones. And the way it's shot and the way it's framed is the same way. And it's like, it's just not, it's not flattering to the picture and its strengths.
Well, and I'm of course aware of Indiana Jones's connection to the serials and pulp media and how it's inspired by those things. It's also a refinement of some of those things when it comes to action design. It's taking advantages of the new resources that are available to a 1980s production as opposed to a 40s one. That's done for a serial as opposed to a feature film. It's just a different thing entirely, technologically and budget-wise. And the thing with a lot of those action beats in those Indiana Jones movies is that it's such a distillation of those things that's like, fuck, how do you do it better than that? Where it's like, the phrase that comes to mind when it comes to the truck chase. If I say truck chase, a lot of people will know what that means, honestly, just because it occupies that much of a cultural footprint. Part of what makes that sequence special is like the phrase that comes to mind. They used every part of the animal. It's like he explores every facet of the truck. He's on top of it. He's on the front of it. He's underneath it. He's in the back of it. He's in the cab. They do everything that you can think to do with a truck. In this, though, it's just like he's on the hood. He gets in the cab. He throws some punches. A dude gets thrown out of the cab, and then we're out of there. It's very brief. It's almost like they're sheepishly kind of shying away from it. Just like, yeah, we can't do that. It's like we don't got the guys for that. So let's just not do that. But in the midst of this fight in the cab of the truck, the Phantom, he does notice a spider web tattoo on James Remar's arm, which he's like, oh, significant. So we, the viewer, are like, oh, that must be important. Put a pin in that. And the truck ends up going into the center of the bridge that we had seen earlier. James Remar has jumped out earlier. So now it's just the Phantom and the boy who's in the back of the truck. And we have a nice little rescue bit where we have a truck that's been flipped upside down and they fall through the canvas of the back of the truck and it has to escape via ropes. And they swing to freedom. Saves the boy. And I like his dynamic with the boy. I don't know if he's from any of the comics or anything, or if he often has like a little kid sidekick or anything. But Billy Zane has good interplay with this little. Cut to Jungle Patrol HQ. I love that. Like I could have a job. Like I work for Jungle Patrol. It's like that's a cool place to work.
Yeah, and this is a big part. It's a big part of the comics. I mean, it's one of those like. He kind of has his commissioner character.
Yes, he does. He does.
And it's weird that we could still have a police commissioner in the middle of the jungle, but they figure out a way to make it work as essentially like Bengal is occupied in a little like in some ways by the British Empire. But it's like, yeah, they have this big this big outpost, and there's all these guys in pith helmets and their safari shirts, and sir, I do believe that it was the ghost who walks that stopped these ruffians. He doesn't exist.
Most unorthodox.
Most unorthodox. And they're dragging the guy away who's yelling, "A giant bat, man!" Effectively. He's like, he's on a horse. And he's got and for some reason, the man does not use the word purple, which would be the first thing out of my mouth.
Yeah.
There's a dude in a purple leotard, and he's on a horse.
Yeah, the key descriptor is he doesn't say that. That's very odd. But Jungle Patrol. We do learn later. This is like Gotham PD, where we do have a Commissioner Gordon-esque figure in the form of the captain here as part of the Jungle Patrol. Again, we learn that a little bit later. Cut to Billy Zane, shirtless in his lair. He's jacked as shit, and holding his breath between phrases. Like, you can tell he's trying to keep it tight for the camera, so his deliveries are a little like paced out in a certain fashion. You can tell every time the camera was off, he was doing push-ups in the back or something. He's got baby oil all over him, but he is doing some research, and he researches the subject of the skulls of Taganda. And he, by the way, he was stabbed in the midsection by James Remar during their little tussle in the truck. And he has this fellow with him. I didn't catch his name. It's like Garum or Garin or something.
Yeah.
It's his like manservant, his Alfred, essentially. And he's
Kato.
Like Kato, exactly. He's like patching up his wound, and I do like that he's like, "Ow, it stings," and then at a certain point he's just like, "You know what? I'm fine. I'm good. Right as rain. Good as new." Like, it's a fun delivery. It's like, you know what? I'm good. Like, you don't need to keep doing that. And we have our first instance of Phantom Chat. So, is this from the comics? I assume.
Kind of. The thing is that it's established. It kind of depends on the writer, where it's like each of the Phantoms have a connection to the previous Phantom, and sometimes this stylistically manifests as them speaking with each other, even if it's more so of a, I've read their journals, I understand who they are, that it's like, we have created something that we have interplay with. It's sort of like the, I believe it was Machiavelli had this idea of, you essentially create your round table, you create like whom you're sitting down with. That's more so what it's portrayed like in the comics, of like, well, yes, we have the knowledge of all the Phantoms, and we have the knowledge of all these people. They aren't there mystically, so to speak, but they are there as like, we have created this spiritual connection to a point that I feel like I am speaking them and asking their guidance, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. In this film, it's represented as like a presence that lives in his mind, essentially. It's like a projection of his father. So yeah, Patrick McGoohan just appears in the study, and he's kind of pissed at his son. He's like, "Yo, Billy Zane, how come you lost that skull? It's kind of a big deal. Like a really big deal. You kind of blew it, kiddo." And there is mention of the Seng Brotherhood, and Dad, of course, takes notice of this. So that's what the spiderweb tattoo is representative of. And we learn that Dad is a specter or a figment of Billy Zane's imagination by his Kato walking back into the room and being like, "Okay, who are you talking to?" He's like, "Nobody. I'm talking to myself." So, cut to Long Island, New York. There is a mansion, and we're introduced to, I believe it's Christy Swanson as Ms. Diana Palmer. She's got riding pants, and she is a strong, independent woman. So she pulls up to this charity dinner, and her mom and her uncle are there. Her uncle is hosting the event. He owns a newspaper. Treat Williams rolls in, Xander Drax. Again, can we put more X's in this man's name? By the way, every time I hear Drax, oddly enough, what comes to mind is Moonraker. Not Guardians of the Galaxy Drax, not Marvel Comics Drax, not this Drax, but little French man from little French guy from Moonraker who gets blown out the airlock. That Drax. And as soon as he rolls in, Uncle, again, the host of the party, sees him, and he's basically like, everybody's like, "Oh, it's Santa Drax. Oh, he's a highfalutin, high society type guy." And Uncle's like, "He's a thug." And it's like, oh shit. And there's a dude here, Jimmy, I think is his name, who desperately wants to bang Ms. Palmer. He comes in handy exactly once in the plot, but he's mostly just here to be Arliss from Batman 1989. Or, forget the name of the actor, but
yeah, he is like a little bit of Knox, like flavors of Knox.
Yeah. Arliss. He's the guy who wants to bang Vicky Vale, but who will never bang Vicky Vale.
I will say what cracks me up about Jimmy is that in my mind, Jimmy is actually another pulp hero in it, like, because it's so comedic. His portrayal is so comedic of just like, I thought of going up to the Yukon and dragging you back to New York myself. Well, why didn't you? Well, I was having a drink at the time and the fancy passed. It's so overdone and so overplayed. I'm like, that is a Lamont Cranston. like that's a Diego de la Vega, where you have, it's like at night that guy's putting on a fedora and he's shooting gangsters.
That would actually be a really fun premise for like a retro comic or story of some sort. Where it's like a city where like almost everybody's a hero, but nobody really knows who anyone is. or so it's not quite the Tick, where like everybody's in each other's business, everybody knows each other's business. It's just like everybody has these secret identities and they're constantly interacting with each other without knowing. Jimmy does come across as a bit of a character. Like, it's so outlandish.
Yeah, it's like he's not quite a heel. Like, he's not a jerk. It's just that he's kind of a useless fop of a man.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, he is useful to the plot exactly once, and it's not here. So Drax tries to talk to the uncle, and as he said, he refers to him as a thug. So he's like, he wants nothing to do with him. He knows Drax is a scumbag who, in addition to working with legitimate businessmen, also has ties to the mob. And Drax, in his very Draxy way, threatens to buy his newspaper. He's just like, you know what? If you don't want to talk to me, then fuck you. It's like, I'm just like, fuck you too, buddy. So we have this meeting in a back room where the uncle tries to tell some city officials, including, I believe, the chief of police, that, this Drax guy is up to no good. And he's researching something relating to a spiderweb symbol. And he wants to get ahead of him and try to figure out what it's all about. And the uncle is on his way to, funny enough, Bengala. And his niece, because she is a strong, independent woman who wears riding pants, she says, "I'll do it for you, uncle. You have business to attend to here." And he's like, okay, whatever. We need a movie, so yeah, go, do. So we learn that the city officials are, in fact, in Drax's back pocket. So they're deferential to him. And the lady, Ms. Palmer, she catches a seaplane in the morning to go to Bengala. And some mobsters are watching her, called Drax, who we then cut to. And we have this goofy little episode in Drax's office where we get to see Drax's villainy on display here. So this is very complicated and brutally violent. It kind of comes out of nowhere. Kind of similar to that Mummy. It's just like, I don't know how we got here, but okay. I don't know if your connection is up to the task, Levi. But you want to walk us through what happens here?
A note about Diana. honestly, yeah, she is an independent woman. I don't find her writing at all irritating. I'm just like, because here's the thing, there's no like, what, are you not gonna let me go to Bengal because I'm not a man, because I'm a woman? Like, there's none of that. She just does it, and her actions kind of speak to it. It's actually one of the better things that seem to have been taken from the Indiana Jones playbook. Is she feels like Marion Ravenwood in that way. It's like, it feels very much like a part of her personality. Like this, it's not that she's trying to prove something, it's just that she's naturally adventurous. And she naturally takes on tasks that are difficult. And the other thing is that she isn't portrayed as invincible. She doesn't save herself or anything. She makes mistakes. She is a strong character in the classic sense of the word. And she does very, very well in it. It's actually one of the things that I think it's something that the Pulps really had a good handle on, that I feel like we started to lose as the years went along. Because Margot Lane is not nearly as big of a part of Pulp Shadow as she is a part of Radio Shadow. But when she does appear in the Pulp, she's very competent and she's good at her job. But she is still very much a woman of the era. It's the same thing with the Sandman, who was later a comics character. Wesley Dodds, the first Sandman, not Dream, had his love interest, Diane Belmont, was also incredibly competent and was like, knew Wesley's secret identity, which was weird for the 40s in comics. And then, in my opinion, the belle of the ball is Nita Van Sloan, who is the fiance of Richard Wentworth, the Spider, who is just as batshit crazy as Richard is. Where it's like, his whole deal is, I'm the savior of the world, and that's why I have to strap on this fake hump on my back and put in vampire teeth and shoot criminals in the streets. And Nita's like, well, you know, he's the savior of the world, so he has to go do it. But she's consistently plays wheelman and is like more than willing to be like, okay, honey, yeah, I'll put on the cape and draw their fire, sure.
Yeah, I wish I could remember the name. Maybe you can fill in the gap for me. But I remember reading about, I think it's a series of films in probably the 1940s. It's the husband and wife detective duo.
The Thin Man.
Yeah, like that always sounded very appealing. It's just like they're very much just like, it's a thing they like to do together, and they're in it together.
Yeah, we used to have a pretty good handle on that. I don't quite understand what happened, where it's like, we used to have that sort of thing where it's like, oh, these are strong characters in the same way that their male counterparts are strong characters. They have strengths and weaknesses, and they're capable, but they make mistakes. And then, like, these are characters. These are things that we write for our characters. And then at some point along the way, like, people just forgot how to write women, and they forgot how to do that. So it required this insane overcorrection, where it's like, now it is where it no longer is about partnerships or about competencies. It becomes about one-upsmanship. And you have characters that like have a chip on their shoulder, and you end up with the writing for characters like Captain Marvel and She-Hulk, who were not like that in their comic, and who were not like that within the comics they were a part of. But there's a need, or at least a perceived need, to correct the record. Where back in the 30s and 40s, which people in modern interpretations would have you believe was just the most awful time to be a woman character, had a very good balance especially for a lot of these heroes. And I think Diana is very emblematic of that.
Yeah, I enjoyed her in this movie. I mean, obviously, I don't have any insight into her beyond this movie. By the way, funny that Penelope Ann Miller has played a character named Margot across multiple films.
Yeah.
The Shadow and The Relic. I believe she's also named Margot. I have a soft spot for The Relic. Anyway, we have this episode where Drax does a horrible act of cruelty on a doctor who seems to have failed him because he allowed word to get out that Drax was investigating this spiderweb symbol. And long story short, this is like some Horror of the Wax Museum type shit where where this poor doctor gets his eyeballs poked out by a trick microscope. Yeah, because Drax went to the trouble to design this device. He devised this device just so he could poke this man's eyes out and make him feel bad about himself. Go ahead.
And the man is wearing glasses. He's like, yeah, come over and look at this for me. And he looks in and he adjusts the viewfinder, and it adjusts so he can see liar written on a piece of paper. And it stabs him in the eyes, and Treat Williams is holding his glasses. He's like, you won't be needing these anymore. And he snaps.
Cut. End scene. It's like, damn, that's cold. Cut to the plane, and my notes here say, oof, bad compositing, followed by, oof, plane was forced to land on the water, off screen. So we have just a single bad composite shot of a plane in flight and some biplanes like swooping by it, like in a threatening fashion. Cut to Billy Zane checking the radio from the Phantom Cave or whatever, the Skull Cave. And then he exposits to us that the plane was forced to land on the water. And the reason my note says oof is because we were not shown that, because we probably couldn't afford that, or we didn't have the technical know-how to represent that. So this whole forced landing of the plane happens off screen. We are introduced to Catherine Zeta-Jones, pre-Mask of Zorro, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and her Sky Pirate gals. Works for me, man. It's like a cooler version of Tailspin.
Yeah, and that's straight folk, man. I mean, it's these characters are very much that.
Sky Pirates, all lady Sky Pirates. Lady Sky Pirates.
And yeah, that is ripped straight from the comics. It's funny because I was watching this, as I said, with my mom, and she's just like, does Catherine Zeta-Jones look different to you? I'm like, I don't know. And yeah, and she's like, her teeth are different. And she looked at that, she's like, yeah, it looks like she had some dental work done like right after this. And I'm like, all right,
good move.
Yeah, yeah, probably, because she has like normal person teeth in this, and not like Hollywood teeth.
She's Welsh. They had to get it worked out, but she did fix her teeth, and seems like her career worked out just fine. But yeah, this is earliest I'd ever seen her, and she is here like specifically to abduct Diana, and she gives her a big old slap cut to Jungle Patrol HQ, and this is where it's revealed to us that the Phantom has a Commissioner Gordon-esque relationship with the Captain, because he's just in his office and he's not surprised. He's just like, oh, Phantom, what are you doing here? And he informs him that Diana Palmer was taken. We can tell from Billy Zane's head tilt and line delivery that he's like, oh, Diana. The boy mentions seaplanes, and I didn't actually catch what words were spoken here, but it was pretty funny because you can tell like the kid is speaking he's trying to convey the concept of seaplanes using words that are not seaplane, and Billy Zane's just like, oh, seaplane, seaplanes. It's like, got it. He's very good with the kid. But in the morning, James Remar and Catherine Zeta-Jones both are united in having captured Diana Palmer. She's being held on a ship or boat, and the Phantom finds the boat, and he tells the boy, stay away from bad guys, huh? Which is cute words of advice to the young boy. And he boards the boat while Devil also infiltrates the deck of the boat. And there's some business involving Catherine Zeta-Jones wanting to examine our Lady Diana's boots, because she's obsessed with glamour, riches, and wealth. She's like, oh, those are some fancy boots you got there, lady. So she pulls her boot off, and she's like, oh, fuck these boots. It's kind of similar to Phil Hartman and Jingle All the Way. Oh, these cookies. Oh, these boots.
There's a clip from A-Team that rolls through my head, and it's George Papard, and he's like smoking a cigar. He's like, they stole my boots. Nobody steals my boots.
I think I've heard that one from my dad. like he had something about people taking his shoes when he was a kid, and he's like, like that was like the worst thing. Like, I'm gonna go after those guys. Apparently he did. But anyway, Catherine Zeta-Jones takes off her boots, and she finds a note that falls out of the boot. And the Phantom busts in on some naked ladies for showering. It's a bit of fun comedy where he kicks the door open, and it's like, gentlemen, put up your hands or whatever. Oh, naked ladies.
And he's like,
this whole like 2-minute stretch is actually kind of hilarious. Like, it's a really fun.
It is. And so he kicks over everyone put your hand in. He's like, oh, ladies, I apologize. And he holsters his weapons, and then one of them pulls a gun and shoots at him.
Yeah, she's like holding up her towel.
Because they're sky pirates.
Yeah, these are tough gals. They got guns in the shower, no less. And he flees, and he meets up with Diana, who's in the room with Catherine Zeta-Jones. And there's this great bit where he's like, is this whole boat full of like ladies? And she's like, yes, we're sky pirates, lady sky pirates. And he's like, interesting. that's his only comment. He's like, interesting. It's kind of perfect. Then another, like, just this whole 2-minute stretch is really tight, like really well constructed. And again, it's all the dialogue. It's not really the action that is the highlight for this movie, for me anyway. Because Catherine Zeta-Jones holds up a gun at him, and he tells her, like, never point a gun at someone because this old jungle saying, never point a gun at someone because it just might go off. And in the midst of it, he just effortlessly snatches her gun from her hand. It's like, damn, phantom powers. He's skilled.
And I think about this with Last Crusade, which honestly, in my opinion, the dialogue is what makes that movie work. Like Last Crusade, dude, has some great action beats, some really fantastic action beats. But when I think of Last Crusade, I think about the interplay between Connery and Ford. Like, so much of the she talks in her sleep, and like I wrote it in my diary so I wouldn't need to remember it. And like, and even like when they're on the Zeppelin, it's like, well, we finally have time. What would you like to talk about?
Fart.
Yeah, it's like all of those exchanges is what I remember most from that movie, and I feel like it's Bohm showing his strength in the dialogue in this as well. It's very snappy, and it's fun without feeling like a work of parody.
Yeah, that's its strength to me, is that it has a sense of fun to it, but it doesn't feel like it's to the detriment of them. Like, it's not laughing at them. It's just like, this is the movie. And again, to its credit, I think it does it pretty well. Like, when this movie's funny, it's very funny. Case in point, Catherine Zeta-Jones gets all hot and bothered as soon as he takes the gun from her. She's like, oh. It's like no one's ever done that before. And she throws herself at it. and even smooches him against his will. And his reaction is to no sell it. And he just looks past her at Diana. And he's like, tie her up. Just like, get this woman away from me. Like, I don't want to catch your crazy. It's kind of great. And instead of tying her up, Diana slugs her in the fucking face and knocks her out.
I love the snappiness of this. Tie her up. Bam! Or don't.
Or don't. It's great. What's weird though is that we had all this fun just now. Like I loved all of that. And then Phantom does this thing where he's like, yo, like, yep, stay behind me. Like I'm here rescuing you. It's a little bit Star Wars like. It's like, I'm here to rescue your princess, blah blah blah. And then the next shot, they go onto the deck of the ship and he gets captured immediately. It's like, oh, you fucked it up.
He gets jumped by like 4 guys.
Yeah, he gets jumped and he gets held up and he gets beat up by James Remar for like the first out of like 5 times in this movie. It's like, oh man. Like, again, to me, like it's kind of funny watching it, but to like young Trevor, like 11 or 12-year-old Trevor, it'd be like, what? like this, that's supposed to be him kicking the door open and like going to town on all these guys on the deck. But no, he immediately captured.
But that's why he has Devil.
Yes. Devil comes to his rescue, and we have some frankly kind of lame fighting. I'll just say that.
It's
just
better than Beastmaster.
Better than Beastmaster. That's not saying much, but it is better than Beastmaster. I'll give it that. And they escape. They steal Catherine Zeta-Jones' plane, which is like hitched to the ship. And cue very long chase sequence, wherein James Remar and the goons pursue the plane on like via truck and horseback. And Devil and the white horse. Does the horse have a name, Levi?
I can't remember.
Horse. His name is Horse.
There is a scene. I love this shot so much. Of Devil comes off the ship and like goes in front of the horse that's standing there, and he like barks and kind of goes up on his legs, and the horse is like,
yeah, they have a conversation.
And they both turn and they go after them. It's just like, I love that.
Yeah,
like, totally unnecessary, but I like it as characterization.
Yeah, no, I got a chuckle out of it. Young Trevor would have appreciated that just as much as current day Trevor. Actually kind of reminded me of Godzilla and Angulas having a conversation on Monster Island. It's like, okay, they can talk, cool. But yeah, Devil and Horse have a conversation, and they speed off in pursuit of the plane. The plane is leaking fuel because it got shot at. And we have this long, complicated stunt wherein the Phantom and Diana both have to jump from the pontoons of the plane to Horse. Long story short, they succeed. Nifty stunt.
Very nifty stunt. I don't know about the timing of it. Like just something about it just doesn't, the grandeur of it doesn't live up to what it actually is. Because like when you really take a second to think about what you just watched, really fucking cool. Just something about the way it's executed as like from a filmmaking standpoint just didn't wow me as much as it should have, which is a little bit of a shame. The horse's name is Hero. I just looked that up.
Hero and Devil. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
So the truck caught up to them though. So the chase continues. Now they're riding Hero, the white horse. Really lousy digital squibs, by the way. Like they're trying to convey that the bullets are hitting the trees like around them, like near them, and it's like we weren't quite there yet. The rope people who were mentioned prior to this, the rope people come to the rescue, and they use their ropes, as you would expect, to grab a couple of dudes off a horseback and save the day. So they escape. They go through a waterfall. They go to the Skull Rock, and what?
Is that the same waterfall from Greystoke? Because it really looks like it.
It really does.
It looks almost identical.
It looks really similar. I don't actually know. I have no idea where Greystoke was filmed. I know parts of this were definitely Thailand, and that was actually a question I had for you. In the source material, is Bengala supposed to be like Southeast Asia or South Asia or Africa? Where like what's
Honestly,
it supposed to be, kind of, or is it like an amalgam?
Shooting straight, I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in the Pacific.
Seems like it from this movie anyway.
Like, I'm almost positive it is, because it's like, it's a weird combo. It's a weird combo of things.
Well, I read that Sang was changed for this movie from something more akin to like Sing, which would make me think South Asian, like Indian.
Yeah.
But the scenery, like the geography, the scenery in the movie is very much Thailand for quite a lot of it. His, like the boy and his Kato type figure, they seem Malaysian or Filipino or something. So I got like a Southeast Asian vibe, but I was just curious if there is like if the geography of it is ever actually laid out in the comics.
Okay, so this is kind of a weird one. Is that it is supposed to be until the 1960s, the country was portrayed as being in Asia near India. But it seems to be kind of like a weird floating island. Because it depends on who you're asking and when it was made. Because sometimes it's kind of like Madagascar, where it's like closer down that way. But then there are times where it scoots up, where it scoots at like 1,000 miles to the east.
So it's more like India-China region as opposed to like off the African coast?
Yeah. Like, we can't seem to decide where Bengala is located.
I mean, it sounds like it's culturally amorphous.
Yeah.
I mean, just the word Bengala makes one think of Bengal, which is think of India. But
yeah,
it's a whatever. It doesn't actually matter. I was just curious.
Yeah.
But yeah, we go to Skull Rock, and Phantom's like, "Hey, I got this nice looking gal in my Skull Rock. I better bring her something fancy." So he's like, "Wait here." And then he runs into the back room, and he's like, "What do I got? What do I got? What do I got? Black pearl necklace." He's like, "Hey, something to remember me by." So he gives her a black pearl necklace, and she's like, "Oh, that's so sweet. That's pretty." Captain shows up of the Jungle Patrol, and cute little line, but the Kato guy says, "No smoking in the Skull Cave." It's like, yeah, 90s. So no smoking in the Skull Cave. And Diana, gives Captain a notice from her boot, and it's just something written by her uncle about the spiderweb symbol. And immediately the Captain's like, "Oh, this represents the Sang Brotherhood." And Phantom's like, "No shit. Yeah, that's totally the Sang Brotherhood." It's like, we have been fighting the same people this whole time. Interesting. We get a Phantomism in the form of "nobody argues with the Phantom and wins." Old Jungle saying. So we cut back to Drax, and he has the skull. So he's been given the metallic skull, the silver skull. And James Remar is here, Quill. He tells him that the Phantom was involved. That's why they don't have Diana when he was expecting to kidnap her. This is also where we have it explicitly laid out to us that James Remar, like the details of him having believed he killed the Phantom, that he is wearing the Phantom's belt. It has a hole in it where he stabbed him in the back and murdered him. It's like, I don't know why he's still around. Stabbed him all the way to the hilt of a 12-inch blade. Should be dead. And we have a very cute transition where Drax is like, "Oh, I'm not too worried about this jungle Phantom guy. He lived in the jungle. He would never come here to the urban jungle." Bam! Cut to Billy Zane getting out of a cab. It's like, oh, jungle's here. Like, the jungle came to you, brother. So we see Billy Zane in New York, and he pisses off a cabbie. who they made sure to get all the players for like any New York set period piece, because like there's a lot of familiar faces in the cast here. It's like this guy steps out of the cab and I'm like, oh, I've seen you in like 1,000 things in New York. Yeah, he pays him off with precious stones. He doesn't have any American currency, and basically earns his services for a lifetime. Does the Phantom ever do anything like this? Does he like recruit people in
on occasion?
Like
yeah,
like a shadow-like way, but like, does he recruit people?
It happens.
Okay. Yeah. We have a meeting where Drax opens the meeting by saying, "God is dead and darkness rules the earth." It's like, whoa. News to me, boy.
Hearing that with Treat Williams' delivery is just very funny.
Yeah, I mean, again, the villains in this are very friendly. like Treat Williams just seems like I mean, he's passed away, unfortunately, like as of several years ago at this point. But he always has that kind of shine to him where he just seems like kind of a nice guy. So to hear God is dead and darkness rules the earth from this man, it's like, whoa, that's unusual. But he's holding this meeting, and basically he's saying like, yo, there are these skulls. If we get 3 of them and they combine, then we have access to a power beyond anything that exists in this world. So remember, this is 1938. This is pre-atomic era. It makes a laser beam, like a not especially impressive laser beam. But that's a spoiler for the end of the movie. But there's a dude in the room, the mobster, the guy who he like is supposed to be like the head of the mob in New York. He just goes bullshit. Like, I want nothing to do with this plan. I'm like, he's basically he's like, you know, I was an altar boy. Like, it's like this hokum involving all these laser skulls. Fuck this. Like, I'm out. So he tries to take off, and then this is the moment I remember most from this movie. Honestly, when I was a kid, this is what stuck with me. It was Catherine Zeta-Jones and Treat Williams being like, "Okay, you can leave." He chucks a spear into the guy's back without a word, really, and then continues the meeting. And his performance here is terrific.
Yeah, and because Treat Williams is like, yeah, you can go, and there's like a set of spears hanging on the wall, and as soon as he turns back, just, yeah, and it's like, whew, yeah, jeez, think I overstretched that. Anyways, So we're getting the skulls.
So about these skulls.
And he promotes the mobster's brother, Richie Aprile. He promotes Richie Aprile to... I swear to God, like, I can't remember the guy's name, but, like, were there tough guys in the 80s that needed to kidnap people? He was probably there. I say I use that name because that is the character he played on The Sopranos for many years. So Richie is now head of the mob because his brother was killed via spear.
I love that detail where Treat Williams continues his spiel and he pulls the spear out of the guy's back, and then he takes a look at the wall. And he does one of these where he's like, like he's looking at the wood and like the tiny little puncture hole that came as a result of him impaling a man on it. And he's like, damn it. You can tell he's kind of pissed. Not because a man died. Not for that, just because the wood got hit. So cut to Diana. She is at the newspaper, and this is where the Knox / Arliss comparisons really come to the fore, because Jimmy's here and he still wants her. And Kit, we're introduced to Kit. That would be the Phantom's alter ego, his public personality. Kit, is it Walker?
Yeah. Kit
Walker. And as soon as she walks into the room and sees him, she's like, oh, Kit. And he's like, oh, Diana. So it's like, oh, there's history here. So they're talking and they're comparing notes about these skulls. And it just so happens Jimmy decides to make himself useful for the only time in the whole movie. And he's like, oh, skulls. I know a lot about skulls. It just so happens I saw a skull at my 12th birthday at the Museum of World History. And they're like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, and this actually would support your theory of like Jimmy having a secret identity and actually being much more competent than he seems.
Yeah, there's also a great character beat because we talk about Billy Zane as being the master of eyebrow acting. I would say he is also a master of blink acting, because there's a particular thing where Diana's like initially surprised and kind of warm, but then she goes cold. And there's this shot of Zane where his smile never quite drops, but you can tell he's dazed by her coldness, and he's like, like he's just baffled. He's baffled by her reaction. There's also a great moment where they're seeking. Like they talk about the skull, it's like, yeah, it was a metal skull with jewels in it, and Jimmy's like, I know a skull like that. Green. It was made of like a green rock, and like Kit's like, perhaps jade, and he like strikes the pose, and he's like, I mean, tell me more about it. It's like
slips into the Phantom.
Kit is so out of practice of being in his civilian identity. Like he's so out of practice that he can't help it.
Yeah, no, Billy Zane is a delight. It's those small. It's like I said, the subtleties in this movie are really what work for me. I just like him in general. Like, have you seen Tales from the Crypt? Have you seen Demon Knight?
Yes, I was gonna bring it up earlier. Hello, time to play.
Oh, he's great. He's great in that movie. Like he's doing something I had never seen him do before. But he's great here too. Anyway, Kit and Diana, they take a car ride together, and we get some exposition here about what their dynamic is. And she's mad because he vanished 6 years ago. He informs her that his dad died suddenly and he had to take over the family business. And it's like, oh, okay. So this whole Phantom business is responsible for kind of pulling him away from her. And then they go to the museum, and he discovers immediately, like, you mean to tell me this skull wasn't lost to time and just some asshole put it in the wrong exhibit? Like, it's actually kind of cute. Where it's like the jade skull is there, clear as day. It's just been placed in the wrong portion of the museum. It's like in the wrong time frame, among the wrong cultural artifacts. And very efficiently, she's like, okay, so we can file some paperwork. I can make some calls. We can make this happen. We can get the skull. And Kit's like, fuck it. He smashes the glass and just steps into the exhibit and pulls it out with his bare hands. It's pretty great. It's like one of those setups where it's just like, you know, just get it done. Like this, we gotta go. And then as soon as he steps out of the case, Drax shows up. And the two skulls now. We have a metallic one and a jade one. They're putting a bag together, and they kind of flip out a little bit. And they merge, and they shoot a laser beam at a map hanging on the wall. So these skulls know what maps are and know how to orient themselves in geography. So, Levi, I guess my question would be, what if there was no map in this room? What would these skulls do?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We do a combination of Jonesian elements here, where the two skulls come together and they do like the Sankara stones, like in Temple of Doom. They start smoking and they kind of light up a little bit. Yeah. But then they combine together and they do essentially the map room thing from Raiders, where they fire the laser beams and they point to the location of the third skull.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, because I was thinking that too. I'm like, wow, it's great that there's like a map of the South China Sea where the island is, and not like Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's like could have been
like,
anywhere.
It's great that there's a map of specifically where they need, and not like somewhere else. Yeah,
it feels like there are some limitations here, because there's an element of charming cheapness to this, because quite literally this is conveyed via some smoke and what appears to be a light shine through a fern that somebody is shaking on the back, like projecting onto the back wall, and just the slightest amount of CGI for the I-beam effect, and Treat Williams having to deliver some, frankly, a little bit embarrassing dialogue involving expressing his awe and his satisfaction at the laser beams and the fern shadows. It's not the only time he has to do it in this movie. Just exclamations of things like "unbelievable," "wowzers."
I think it contributes to. I think it honestly contributes to the character. And his excitableness, and just his whiz-bang attitude.
I like it until Kabai Seng gets involved and his character gets diminished. Like, he gets pushed into the shadows, and like he gets knocked down a lot of pegs, like kind of very suddenly. But yeah, we now know where the third skull is. And our heroes are captured at this point, and they're taken in a vehicle. The cabbie, who again was paid off via precious gems, he follows. And the bad guys, they beat up Kit. They now take them back to Drax's office in the high rise. And he notices, as he's being beaten up again, Phantom gets beat up a lot in this movie, that James Remar is wearing his dad's belt. So he's like, oh, it was you. And go ahead, please.
He has a really, like, he strikes a very specific face, because he sees the belt and he looks up and he has it dawns on him who he's looking at, and the way his face is I'm like, that is the spitting image of Marlon Brando. I'm like, holy, like, that is so, like, it looks like On the Waterfront. Just like this face that he's striking is very reminiscent of that. Another thing in this scene that's great is they're like, well, we ought to bring Palmer with us because the Phantom's crazy about her. And Catherine Zeta-Jones is explaining this, and he's like, well, how do you know that? And she's like, he chose her over me. And I'm like, Zeta, Ms. Jones, if it was literally anybody else, I wouldn't believe that. But it's Catherine Zeta-Jones, and you're like, yeah, that is love. That has to be love.
Yeah. I mean, they could have put that in the script. It would have fit in pretty well. It's like, yeah, I buy it. By the way, that exchange between James Remar and Billy Zane, I wish there was more. Maybe it's just me asking for more of a movie that this is not. But Captain Love and De La Vega in The Mask of Zorro, that dynamic is what I wanted. It's like they have to interact with each other without both parties being privy to their shared history, and you have that like simmering, the tension, and then the payoff, which is just expertly done. But yeah, it's kept very quiet. It's not that they don't acknowledge it. It's just that it feels thinner than it ought to be. It's like, dude killed your dad, like, and you see your dad's ghost on the semi-regular in this movie. Anyway, Kit manages to escape in the most bizarre of means on the stairwell. He braces his palms on the stairs and then like mule kicks the two guys behind him, and then tackles James Remar and escapes via like machinery room in the building, and he brought his Phantom out. He knocks out these two goons via leg scissors. He chokes them with his leg scissors. It's like, okay, sure.
Yeah, it's from the Scarlett Johansson school of goon dispatchment.
Yeah, he doesn't do a tilt-a-whirl Hurricane Rana or anything, but he it's a bizarre setup because there's two guys are like slinking in the shadows, like, where is this guy? Like, we gotta catch him. And then these two purple legs slide in from the side of the frame, and then they go, ah. Anyway, my note says, oof, stock sound of hatch opening. Because
I was thinking that same thing. It's like, I'm pretty sure I have that in my sound library.
I know I do. It is the most stock of stock sounds.
I was waiting for the pottery smash.
The Kulianescar or whatever.
Yeah.
Cut back to Treat Williams, and he discovers that the laser beams from the skull are directing us to a place called the Devil's Vortex. And again, I do like his get up and go attitude about things, because he's like immediately reaching for his coat and his hat, and he's like, okay, let's go. It's like, the Devil's Vortex, sure, whatever. And then everybody else in the room is like, you want like maybe wait till morning or something? He's like, no, let's go, fuck it. So he sicks the
and they're
cops
like,
on the
isn't that where all those planes disappeared and the boats and stuff? And who cares?
Like, fuck it, we'll be fine. I'll be flying the plane. It's no big deal. It's like nothing possibly could go wrong. He's like Bubsy. What could possibly go wrong? So, by the way, Bubsy 4D is a thing, Levi. They're making a fourth Bubsy in POG form.
I have never encountered a franchise that continues almost purely off of spite.
The people are not clamoring for more Bubsy. Nobody has asked for more Bubsy since there was a Bubsy. And yet we have now a fourth Bubsy.
It's like, no, I mean, we have 5 Bubsies?
I think you might be right. I think
1, 2, 3D. There was a reboot 2D platformer Bubsy, returning to the Bubsy roots.
Oh, they did have a Bubsy compilation, like a Bubsy anthology.
Yeah, we returned to the roots of Bubsy with like something. It was some stupid pun was the name, and
Bubsy
now we have
furry tales.
Yeah, or something.
Some bullshit.
and now we have Bubsy 4D, which I've never come across a franchise that exists purely out of spite.
Bubsy is.
Black screen.
Bubsy is. Anyway, Drax sicks the cops on the Phantom, because again, he has the police force in his pocket. And the Phantom takes out his pistols, not to shoot people. It's not that kind of movie. But to slide down an elevator shaft, much in the same way we saw Doc Savage do it earlier this month.
Yeah. It was at this moment that I realized, I'm like, this movie is structured very similarly, where it, like a lot of the elements, like, okay, so we have the dead dad, we have the jungle adventure, we have the urban chase, we have the, like, he's sliding down the elevator, and then we have a charismatic businessman villain who is flanked by his weirdo, like, henchmen that have connections to ancient tribe. I'm like, hold on. I'm like,
somebody may have seen Doc Savage.
Well, at least from my opinion, this is sort of what Doc Savage would be if the tone was consistent and we had more money.
Yeah, I could see that. Because Doc Savage it pivots in that last act in a way that this one does not. This one is more cohesive all the way. Yeah, Phantom street chase. He takes off after Diana and the bad guys. And there's a really cool stunt where he's jumping from car to car to cross the street. Really good use of the period setting, like the set dressings. As I said, the production design of this movie is quite handsome. Nifty stunt. And then he manages to steal a horse, and some police on motorcycles chase after him. Goes through what I assume is like Central Park. And he flees into the zoo and enters a tiger cage. And nothing really happens. Apparently there was supposed to be a scene where he fought a snake or something. Perhaps in the zoo. I'm not sure. But the tiger kind of helps him out. He's thankful for the tiger. And yeah, he just kind of escapes. He gets away. And the cabbie, he gives him a ride to the harbor. Dad pops up again in the back seat, now wearing like modern day New York attire. And seems like he's putting on a little bit of an affect too. Like he's trying to sound like a New Yorker a little bit, but it's Patrick McGowan. So it's like good fucking luck. It's like asking Sean Connery to do that. It's like, no, don't do that. And Dad's like, yeah, I died. James Remar murdered me. They have a bit of comedy where he's like, poor judge of character. Sorry. Like he literally stabbed me in the back. Did not see it coming. My bad. It's actually kind of a funny exchange. Anyway, Diana is in the plane. They're headed to the Devil's Vortex. And we have a bizarre transition where it's James Remar and Mr. April from The Sopranos. And they're burping in the plane. And she's grossed out. Next cut is James Remar blowing smoke rings in the back of the plane. I guess it's supposed to show that they're goons, like they're thugs. It's the first time we've had that kind of joke in this movie.
They're very unsavory.
Yeah, but it's just her in close quarters with these two guys who are burping in an airplane. Okay, I mean it's not it didn't fail to make me smile, so I guess that's something. But we land at the island. Again, it's a seaplane. Every plane in this movie is a seaplane. And fucking pirates. Straight up
fucking pirates.
Fucking pirates.
Led by Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung is here to tell you that your brother's soul is mine.
One of his deliveries is just like because later when Drax is trying to convince them, he has this delivery like, we have no need for New York here. And I'm like, he needs a bit, and your brother's soul is mine.
I'm pretty sure he calls someone a fool. You fool.
He does.
I'm pretty sure he calls someone a fool. By the way, what we're joking at here is that Kabai Singh, the descendant of Kabai Singh, also named Kabai Singh. I think he calls him the evil Kabai Singh. I'm the other guy. It's like I'm the less evil Kabai Singh. Is played by Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa, who of course plays Shang Tsung in the Paul W.S. Anderson combat movie. He brings it, as he always does. He's great in anything, honestly. He's done a lot. But yeah, he's good casting for a slimy pirate, or a greasy pirate. And the pirates, at first they're hostile, but then James Remar's like, yo, we go to the same tattoo parlor. And they're like, whoa, you're cool with us. So somehow the Sang Brotherhood spilled into New York. I don't know when or how, but it spans the globe. So they're all part of the same group. This is also very subtly where we start to see Catherine Zeta-Jones start to tilt towards the light side, where when the pirates are kind of accosting them, she defends Diana. Like she steps up and like physically puts herself between them. But yeah, Kabai Singh, it's he and Drax they're having like a dick measuring contest of sorts, where like Drax is like yo, I got these skulls. I see that you have a golden skull. There's supposed to be 3 skulls, and we put them all together. It'll make a nifty laser beam that might be useful. And Cabai saying is like, you fool! There are 4 skulls. He's like, oh, I only knew about 3, but can I have it? Like, that's the thing, is like Drax just has this perpetual smile on his face no matter how dire the circumstances might be, and he is bound and determined to get that skull. He doesn't care who he has to kill or what has to happen. He's gonna get that skull. Charles makes his exit here. And this was incredible because it comes out of fucking nowhere, but it's great. I love that it's here.
I would like to lay this out. I would like to set the scene,
please,
because his plan makes no goddamn sense.
No, he has a handgun, and there are many pirates.
So Drax is trying to convince them, like, well, you know, we can work together. Like, you guys represent the old world, I represent the new world. Like, we can help each other out. And Shang Tsung is fool, and is like, and they're surrounded by the pirates, and he's just like, and you will not make it back to New York in one piece. And Drax is like, all these people know that we're here. There'll be an army coming. And then for some reason, Richie decides that the good plan is to, because I kind of forgot how this scene was structured. He like pushes him aside and he's like, actually nobody's coming. To which I thought he was going to be like, essentially sell them out. Like, listen, clearly you guys know what you're doing. How about I put my gun to his head and he hands over the skulls? Which is what I thought was going to happen because I forgot how this scene played out. He, in fact, says, nobody knows we're coming. I have this handgun. I'm going to shoot you if you don't let us go. Well, he's surrounded by 9 pirates with swords on him. I don't know how this plan works. I don't know why you thought it was a good idea. But, then, Kabe Sang says something. He says a specific phrase, and everyone kind of looks at each other like, the hell does that mean? And he's like, it is an old pirate saying. It means, ready the cannon. And there's a beat, like 2 beats.
A very, very long beat.
Of they ready the cannon, they light it, and Richie goes, what? And then gets hit by a cannonball so hard he flies like 60 feet across the cave, hits the wall, and then goes into the drink. Richie is super dead.
They killed him until he died from it. He died so hard he flew into the next soundstage.
He flew into a soundstage that we don't see again. They designed a soundstage just for Richie's death.
Just for him to fly into.
It is such a stupid beat, because the problem is that the phrase "ready the cannon" should be followed by his reaction to "boom." The problem is that it takes too long. Readying the cannon takes entirely too long in the edit, to a point where Richie could have just taken a step to the left.
Yes. Yeah, comedic or otherwise, just the timing is wrong.
It's kind of unsatisfying. It is hilarious when he actually gets hit and you're just like, holy shit.
No, I mean, I love seeing a guy on a wire rig go flying across a room. It's pretty great. And it's not every day you get to see somebody get blasted with a full-on cannonball.
It's not every day that a 1930s New York gangster gets shot by pirates with a cannon.
I mean, again, it's something you can make a whole skit about, where it's like that Robot Chicken gag about Buttface in A New Hope. Like, what was this day leading up to this?
Yeah.
It's like, how did I get here? like, how did I from the Bronx end up getting hit by a cannonball from a pirate in the South China Sea?
Yeah, so Richie's dead, leaving Ajax and
Ajax,
Ajax, leaving Ajax, and he continues to try to convince them, like, guys, hey, we're friends, and he's just Singh is like, no, that ain't happening. And at this moment, the Phantom swoops in, and he's just like, Kaba Singh and Phantom. And they go at it. Everyone duels, and Treat Williams runs away.
Yeah, they has fight. Kaba Singh meets his end in the clumsiest of fashions, where they ting ting ting. They don't deny us that we do get some ting ting tings. We get some buckling of swashes. Cool. But he's holding the Phantom up at sword point. He's like, I knew all your secrets, Phantom. That you're not, in fact, the Phantom who got stabbed by Ajax a while ago. You're a different guy. And he's like, yeah, it's not that hard if you think about it. And then he lunges. He tries to run the Phantom through. And he overcommits just a skosh. And he falls into a stream full of sharks. And he gets gobbled up by sharks. And the Phantom has a cool quip where he's like, you know all my secrets? He's like, never tell anyone, because now you've been eaten by sharks. It's just like, how did you fuck that up? Like, just don't lunge with everything you have when the man is standing at the edge of water with sharks in it. Again, I think there is a sanitation effort, because it does stand out to me as an adult. As a child, I probably wouldn't have thought about it. As an adult, it does stand out to me that the Phantom kills no one in this movie.
Pretty much now.
This movie has a body count, but the Phantom he can't be culpable for any of these deaths. It's like, I didn't do anything. I didn't touch him. He fell into that pile of sharks. I didn't push him.
Yeah, folks, that is a big fat PG right there. PG. Yeah. Parental guidance.
Suggested. It's not even required. I want to say that there was a bit of sanitation involved in this movie, where it's like, we can have him have guns. He's not going to shoot anybody. He's going to shoot swords out of people's hands. He's going to use those guns to slide down elevator shafts. All the bad guys are going to die. He's not going to be responsible. So, he came at me. Kaba Singh gets eaten by sharks. And then we have this back room that's a cool little set where there's a mini submersible of sorts. There's Torpedo Bay, and that's going to be how we escape the island. So our two gals, Catherine Zeta-Jones, is now on the side of good. She and Diana they had, in the words of Catwoman in Batman Returns, girl talk, and we're now cool with each other. And so the plan is to use the torpedo tubes, to use the submarine or submersible to escape the island. It starts to work. The girls are in the submarine, but then the Phantom gets accosted by Ajax, James Remar, and we have a really shitty fight. And the skulls are combined, so now there are 3 skulls facing each other, but they're one. Drax accidentally murders Ajax because he discovers, now that the skulls are united, they form a laser beam, which I can't really control all that well. It's powerful, but I don't know exactly how powerful. And he accidentally points it at James Remar and vaporizes him, so it kills people real good. That's for sure.
Genuinely, here's the thing. There are some dumb things in this movie. There are some things that fall short. This 5-minute chunk, I'm like, as a kid, I was like, this is stupid. And as an adult, I don't feel much different. I'm like, what a mistake. Like, it just totally bungles it. And then the movie is fine. Like, the actual, like, the note you go out on is, like, pretty decent. And it almost, and it allows you to forgive it. But it's like, the dispatching of our two villains is really unfortunate.
Yeah, because Phantom does take the belt off of James Reed because it belonged to his father, so that's important. And he does have that cool line of, you have something that belongs to me. But then the actual kill shot is executed by Drax on accident, no less. And then we have a Dragon Ball Z fight where we have a beam struggle, wherein the Phantom says, I was given this ring as a form of protection. I didn't exactly know what that meant, but I do now. Because that laser beam, Drax, that you have from your United Skulls can in fact be countered by the fourth skull, which is on my hand. And it shoots a kind of lame looking laser beam, and they have a beam struggle where they go, yeah, it's like Egg Shen and Lopan going at it, pushing and pulling. And Drax's last words are unbelievable before he explodes. He explodes, and presumably I think the skulls blow up with him.
And we get the best Treat Williams line read of the entire picture as the Phantom explains this. I have the fourth skull on my finger. Ha! What a cheap jungle trick! Unbelievable. Incredible. I think of that line all the time.
It actually, like, hurts me on a physiological level to hear it, honestly. What a cheap jungle
trick.
Yeah, the head bobs are
movement.
It's like,
I love that line read because it is just like, I have to believe that has to be a Williams choice. That has to be his choice of line read. Because I can't imagine directing somebody to do that.
It probably was improvised. And it's funny because, like, to me, like, it bothers me. But, like, if you put it in the context of, again, a comic strip, similar to like Billy Zane's body language and his postures that he assumes in the movie, if you put it in that context, it works really, really well. You take that line and you put that in speech bubbles in a comic book, in a pulpy comic book, it's natural. It's as natural as can be. Like, it fits really, really well. It's just when it comes at the climax, the deeply dissatisfying climax of your action film, it's like, oh man. But the way he meets his end here brought to mind the Super Mario Brothers movie. Not the new one, but when the lady's putting the meteorite fragment in the hole and she says, like, it's incredible or whatever.
Yeah.
And she gets a trailer moment. She gets blown against the wall. Remind me of that. Anyway, he goes kablooey, as does the island, for no real reason.
Sure.
And Phantom escapes with the submersible. They all get out on the water, and they're all fine. And then, tell me what you think, but, like, to me, the sequencing of this felt really strange. Because what immediately follows is narration followed by Billy Zane sitting down with Diana and telling her what the Phantom is. It's like, we were at the Skull Cave. Like, you didn't tell her this then? It's like, why is this coming at the very, very, very end of the movie?
Yeah, it feels a little strange. But the thing is that he has reason to explain it because he's placing the belt of his father onto his tomb in the cave.
Which
so in
sense.
that way, it makes sense. But it's also kind of weird. It's also weird because as the scene goes on and he brings her out to the float plane to send her home, like, because he's explained, it's passed from father to son, like, I'm the 21st to hold this name. And they get out onto the sand, and he's like, oh, well, I'll see you home. And she's just like, yeah, Kit. And he looks surprised. Like, how did you figure it out? And I'm like, Kit, buddy, you didn't think to...
I mean, they do take the piss out of the Phantom on occasion in this movie. Not in a way that, like, harms his position in the movie or anything. But, like, instances like him saying, I'm here to save you, and then the very next cut is him on the deck of the ship being apprehended by, like, 5 goons. And like you said, him with that exchange with Jimmy, like him doing like the Phantom posture and then being like, I'm not the Phantom. It's like he seems almost like bashful when she calls him Kit, where he's like, oh man, like I blew it, didn't I?
Here's the thing. I choose to believe it as the guy has been running around the jungle for the last 6 years, and Kit Walker doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. It's like Kit Walker is a skin and a role that he is not used to playing at all. So it's sort of like, okay, well, it's been 6 years. Time to put this face back on. And he's like, I don't really know how to do that anymore. Like, it was easy when I was in college and I was like educated in America and things were fine here. Like, it was easier then because it was a role I was playing every day, but now he isn't, and he doesn't know how to play it convincingly, and everyone's like, is there something wrong with Kit? He's a little weird.
It's funny, you could actually make like a... if this had like sequels or was part of a series or something, you could have some fun with the idea of like reduce that time frame, make it less than 6 years, have it be where he's like really thoroughly between worlds, where it's like 3 years or something like that, where it's like he's had enough time to not remember what Kid is, but he hasn't had enough time to be like the best Phantom that one could possibly be. So he's like kind of shaky no matter where he stands. I think that would be kind of interesting. It's like this jungle place is nice, but I still like have memories of what it is to live in a high rise in New York, and it's like like just kind of uncomfortable wherever I am.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's like that's kind of what I read it as, is that it's like the guy's just so out of practice. He's so out of practice with this. And it's just like, I don't think he remembers how to be around people.
Yeah, no, like I said, I don't think it... I think they poke fun at him being not so great at being Kit, but I don't think it's detrimental. I don't think it lands poorly or anything in the movie. But yeah, he tells her the whole history of the Phantom, and she asks to see his face after, conveying to him that it's like, I know who you are. It's not a big deal. And he's like, okay, fine. So he complies. They have a smooch. And he confirms to her that the Phantom lineage is always passed. Like, basically, he's only supposed to reveal his identity to the person he intends to marry. And she's like, what if they refuse? And he's like, well, no one refuses the Phantom. It's like, okay. But she's like, that's a little creepy, Kid. Don't say that. Like, how about you not say that out loud anymore? So she leaves with Catherine Zeta-Jones on a plane, and we get some narration from Patrick McGowan saying like, yeah, and so she left, but she knew in her heart that she would come back eventually. Yeah. Or at least I hope, because I'm still Ghost Dad, and it would be nice to retire for real, and no longer be a ghost dad. If my dirtbag son would just get busy and make an heir.
Yeah, and he essentially says just that, where he's just like, leave it to my son to let the perfect woman go.
It's cute. It's a very strange way to end a movie, but it kind of works. Yeah, and I was my mom was just like, isn't Catherine Zeta-Jones gonna see his face? And I'm like, no, she's doing plain stuff. She's like,
I don't think so. I think she could probably see his face from here, and she saw Kit. She saw Kit in the high rise. So she totally knows who he is. I'm like, no, plane stuff. And we cut back to her, and she's like feeling around on the plane. I'm like, see, plane stuff. And
Plane
my mom's
stuff.
like, my mom's like, pfft.
She would look. She would look. Well, what that would be is she did in fact see his face, and then throws Diana out of the plane. And then circles back and says, "Oh, Diana got lost in transit somehow, but I'm here." That's her plan.
Yep. So that's the Phantom. For all of its issues, I do like this movie. It has problems, mostly in the effects department, and that like 5-minute sort of chunk at the end there with the dispatching of Quill and Drax is pretty embarrassing. But overall, I think the film works because of its earnestness and because of just how beautiful the thing looks. It feels correct. It feels very, very correct.
Yeah, no, I would have a hard time recommending this movie to people. I can watch it and enjoy it now, especially now that I've seen it a handful of times and I know what works for me about it. Like, I think expectations are a lot of what hurt it when it was in theaters, because again, like slam bang action thrillers with lots of pyrotechnics and CGI.
Yeah. Slam evil.
We were promised slamming of evil. We don't really slam a lot of evil in this movie.
Disintegration of evil?
Well, it's not even him that's doing the disintegrating or the slamming. Like, the movie seems willfully like going out of its way to not have him slam evil.
Disarm evil?
Yeah, finger wag evil.
Eyebrow raise evil?
I mean, I don't know what you said the Phantom's just a dude, but like if Billy Zane's playing the Phantom, then he just like eyebrow wags them and they just get hypnotized and like, I no longer want to do evil. But yeah, the action and like the lack of like amazing pyrotechnics and stunt work, splashy effects work and stuff, I think really are a huge liability to it, because it was the 90s. That was the style at the time. We were being bombarded with grand spectacles featuring all of those things at like the pinnacle of the art form, honestly, in a lot of cases. So for this movie to be kind of lax in those areas from like a setup and payoff standpoint, it's like it doesn't quite give you that. But in terms of just like a fun film with enjoyable characters and performances and stunning locales and solid production design, it has strengths. So again, it's hard for me to recommend it for anybody who's looking for something Rocketeer-esque, Shadow-esque, or Mask of Zorro-esque. Like, to me, it's like it's not that kind of a movie. But for somebody that's looking for a slightly more laid-back experience that's more dialogue-centered, there's a lot to like here. So I don't hate this movie. I don't have the same relationship or connection to it that you do, Levi, but I had fun with this rewatch. Enough fun, anyway.
Yeah, and it's one of those, I have a certain set of movies where it's like, of the Pulp and the Pulp revival that we got, I can really only earnestly and honestly recommend that people see The Rocketeer and The Mask of Zorro. Like, without reservations, go watch them. Please go watch them. Pretty much all the rest of them are like, watch them with me and feed off of my enthusiasm and so we can talk about it afterwards. Because if you watch this by yourself, you're gonna be upset.
And Dick Tracy, do you like Madonna? No? Well,
you better like Madonna.
You better like Madonna, because you're getting a lot of her.
Yeah, it's
do you like montages? You like montages in your films. Do you like films that are mostly montages?
Goodness gracious. I was out thrifting the other day, and I found a Dick Tracy pencil case. And I'm like, I await using this at all of my professional engagements.
Oh, please do. That's amazing.
It has like a portion of it where it's the 3 tubes on like a hinge, and I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, it's so you could put the pencil case down and stand it up and have your 3 most used pencils just at hand on your desk. I'm like,
that's coming to the office.
I'm like, baby, I am taking this to meetings. I am a with my Dick Tracy pencil case. If that movie did anything right, the posters and advertising, the tie-ins, like, I want to get one of those preview posters where it's just the silhouette and the hat bringing up the watch. I'm on my way. Like, I want that poster. But yeah, I mean, just about everything else, you're like, yeah, guys. I mean, you and I can watch Dick Tracy, and we can watch it together, and we can like muse about it. But you can't watch The Shadow without me, because you're just going to hate it and insist I wasted your evening.
Yeah. So, without caveat, Rocketeer, Mask of Zorro.
Yes.
Those are kind of the two, but everything else comes with a little bit of baggage. And I would agree with them. Like, pretty much wholeheartedly.
Yeah,
I enjoyed this rewatch. I always like revisiting things that I know I've seen, but it's been more than 2 decades since I last saw it. So I'm a big fan of watching almost any movie of any sort of value at least twice in your life, just to like reconfirm your feelings on it. And I feel I did that today, so thanks for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was Simon Wincer's. By the way, I should have mentioned this at the top. Quigley Down Under,
which is a movie I really like.
It's like years. The ultimate dad movie.
If you are a father,
if you have produced Spawn and you are a man, you like Quigley Down Under. It's like billiards. If you have produced Spawn and you are a man, you probably are halfway decent at billiards. Before that, though, it's like a light switch gets flipped. Until you've produced Spawn, you cannot play billiards.
Yeah, you can't play billiards, and you don't like Quigley Down Under. Yeah, Quigley Down Under is one of those movies that for some reason, like, it didn't do well at the box office, and it didn't do well critically, but every dad I've ever met has been like, Quigley Down Under. It's like,
they'll
Tom Selleck.
They will stop. They will stop if Quigley is on. My dad certainly does. He certainly did. We had to watch Quigley.
The people come out for Quigley.
People come out for Quigley. And also, my brother, he would never say this is a good movie, but my brother has this ongoing fascination with Harley Davidson and the Marlboro. This Simon Wincer also directed that.
I'm not familiar.
Look it up, please. Don Johnson and Mickey Rourke versus a lesser Baldwin. I think it's Daniel. He's the chunky Baldwin.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a not post-apocalyptic, but like semi-futuristic movie. But it's called Harley Davidson and the Marlboro. And my brother is like always pointed to that as just like, I don't know what the fuck that is, but I'm really glad it exists. It's not good. Would never recommend it. I'm just happy it's out there.
Sounds like a future episode.
I would totally pull the trigger on that because, like, but for some reason it's just been this lifelong curiosity that my brother has held for that movie. But I was delightfully surprised to see, like, holy shit, this guy did the Harley Davidson, the Marlboro Man. Holy shit.
Color me curious.
Yeah, that's a someday. That's a someday for sure. But we still got Pulp Cinema month to finish out. So look forward to more of that next week. But in the meantime, hey, Levi, thanks for joining me today. But would you care to let our listeners and hopefully viewers know where they can find you and your awesome YouTube channel?
Yeah, you can find me at Your Captain Speaking on YouTube. I talk about things of this ilk, pulp novels and just short stories that I put under the umbrella of men's action. So we've made episodes about Elric and Conan and James Bond and some of these different adventure type characters. My goal with it was to highlight all of these stories that you probably didn't know are less than 200 pages. And they're written to be snappy and entertaining and fun. And it's sort of me beckoning people back to reading, because so much of what dudes read these days are either these gigantic tomes or self-help or history. And I'm like, come on, have a little bit of fun. Every James Bond novel is less than 200 pages. Have a ball. Read them over a weekend. You're probably going to have way more fun than yelling at the latest streaming show.
Yeah. Levi's project is very much worth your time. He does great work on his YouTube channel. He is consistently slamming evil with every video he puts out.
That is my job.
Slamming the evil that is illiteracy or poor literacy. Words of Linkara, because poor literacy is Q.
He's Q.
Q. But yeah, definitely check out Your Captain Speaking on YouTube. It's a great channel, especially that Zorro episode. Definitely check out the Zorro episode. As for myself, the show is called Catching Up on Cinema. You've been listening and watching it for the past couple hours, so we already know that. We are available on pretty much every podcasting platform you can imagine, as well as YouTube. So check us out at either of those spots. With that being said, thank you so much for joining us. We will catch you next time.
That is